Hi Libra, this is your February 2016 horoscope with me, Lada from astrolada.com. For anyone who has their ascendant, sun or moon in Libra. And as I promised you in January videos, I will do the February ones focusing on Mars being in Scorpio. And Mars will be there in your second house for quite a long time. It's unusually long compared to other times Mars transit triggers your second house. Maybe the last time, usually Mars repeats this cycle once every 17 years. And so it's a rare opportunity to really drive and to really trigger changes through willpower, through your personal efforts, through dynamic change, and through developing your willpower in regards to financial matters. And this process starts from February. You can start feeling the winds of change there, or the first impetus and drive in that direction from February 2016. But the whole process will only end by August 2016, because Mars will be in your second house. Then it will go into your third house for a little bit. Then it will come back into your second house, where Scorpio is for you Libras. And fully it will move away from your second house by August 2016. So I want to give you a whole view of what to expect for the next few months, rather than just when Mars comes retrograde in your second house and I'll tell you there will be complications with finances and things like that. But no, this is not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to see what the results of that transit will be, and I'll try to cover everything to give you a perspective so you don't lose heart and you persevere in that direction, and what the best strategy it will be for you for quite a few months in 2016, starting from February to almost August 2016, how to act, because Mars is the planet of action and your personal initiative. So when Mars enters for such a long period your second house, it's there to teach you personal initiative in regards to finances and material resources. And in order for us to change, because Mars is all about change, and Scorpio as well, Mars will be in Scorpio for such a long time. Both Mars and Scorpio are planet and a sign of change, and for you, it's almost like a wake-up call or push towards a change, restructuring, new ideas to come in and to be implemented in regards to your resources and finances. So you will be pushed either by outer circumstances, if you're resisting, by some crisis situation, to reevaluate your budget, to reevaluate your spending, to reevaluate and to change with active pursuit your finances or resources. Say, for example, you're a resource manager. You'll be very active and busy with that. Or say, for example, you realize that you have to spend money on something big, because Mars often indicates like sudden out of the blue expenses that can come up. And because of that, you have to restructure your whole budget. And say, for example, you want to invest in something, because second house is about what we invest in financially to feel more stable in the long run. So Mars will make you be more initiative in such regards over the next 6-7 months. But because Mars is also a bit more of a rush planet, a bit more of an adventurous planet, it can make people become more adventurous without properly evaluating the situation in regards to finances, and go and spend money on something, quite impulsively. So the impulsive desire, the impulsive needs to spending, or the outside need to spend on something can appear during this period. So you have to be prepared, otherwise your finances can be destabilized. After all, Mars, as we know in astrology, is more malefic, stressful planet. So for a little bit, for some period in 2016, it can be giving you financial stress in some way, under pressure. But the ultimate result can be extremely productive. I'll give you an example. When my husband had Mars retrograde in his second house a few years ago, and that's when he decided he will buy property. So he made a big investment there. So from having stored finances, he went to not having anything. But he invested in something, but it created a lot of stress in him. And there were all the time during those 6-7 months, not all the time, but 2-3 times extra expenses that came, that were not foreseen, that were out of the blue, which is very much Mars, unexpected, that were connected to this spending that he did with the property. I'm not saying you all Libras will be buying property, but there might be the need for some expense, you know. And this stress that destabilized his finances, stressed him mentally as well. So you have to be prepared, actually, and second house does not want sudden changes. Second house is a slow house. You put seeds there, they grow slowly. So if you're too rushed with your finances, if you go and put your money suddenly in something, you can after that feel that you've made a rash investment, or that you've spent money on something without considering. But if you research properly, because it's Scorpio is your second house of finances, and Mars is transiting there. If you research well, because Scorpio is about, you know, good strategic investigation of whatever you're going to be putting your money, or whatever you're going to be sourcing new resources of some sort. If you do it properly, strategically, Mars can increase your finances in the long term. And by August, September, even if it costs you to do it, energy, if it costs you to do money, if it costs you money or energy or resources, at the end you'd have created a more stable system and more progressive system for financial stability in your life. So the overall influence can be extremely positive. Just at moments it can be more stressful, because in order to have a breakthrough somewhere, we need an extra nudge. We need to feel cornered by the wall sometimes, so we can become more inventive, and we can strategize properly, and we can mobilize our willpower, which is Mars. And people who are naturally, if you're Libra and you're naturally initiative and proactive with finances, you would find this time highly energizing and dynamic. With you implementing new such sources, with you implementing new systems of financial stability, rebudgeting, or new investing in projects that will increase finances for you in the long term. If you're naturally not such an initiative person in those matters, the pressure can come to you from outside somehow, and it will, for financial, any kind of material finances, and financial and practical things. On the more negative scale, second house is our possessions, and Mars can be a damaging influence. So you might be more susceptible over the next 6-7 months, like to lose something, to break something, someone to steal something, you know. So just be more careful to prepare you. It might not come in February. February, actually, Mars is doing lots of very good aspects to planets, to Mercury, to Venus, to Jupiter, so it's much more supported in February, Mars, from your second house. So you can start getting ideas and initiative and proactive, and taking first few steps towards improving your finances, towards putting more discipline there, because Mars is a disciplined planet. Mars is the soldier. Soldier is a discipline, strategic approach, especially because it's in Scorpio. Scorpio never rushes into anything. And if you follow the energy of Scorpio, which is you know, Mars in Scorpio in your second house. So if you want to increase your finances, if you want this to be productive 6-7 months for you financially, or in the long run, then plan, strategize. Approach it like a military mission, almost like a general there playing chess, or moving the pawns, or planning the kind of the actions. Because this is where Mars will make you put a lot of attention and a lot of focus. If you're in some kind of business, you might more actively, aggressively pursue expansion, for example, or change of how you secure your resources, or how you secure your products, or how you find your products, or what the financial payoff of those is. And and often Mars symbolizes naturally property. It's, in ancient astrology, is the planet that rules property. So when it's in the second house, often I've noticed people for such a long time going retrograde, they can decide to invest something in property, for example, or a bit more. Sorry, I lost my thought there. Second house is also possession. So Mars and valuables, anything you consider valuable. So you might try to amass Mars-ruled possessions. What can this be? Machines, anything made of steel or metal. Maybe if you're in some production system, you might have to secure better machines, or something that is more breakthrough, more to innovate, because Mars is the planet of innovation, making something work better in regards to your resources as well. So it doesn't have to be just money, it can be possessions that you use that have more technical, because Mars is more technical planet, rules metals, rules technological skill as well. So investing in such gains, in such material possessions or property type of possessions can be a good investment. Well, Mars is in your second house. But you have to stay warned not to rush slowly, to hurry up slowly, to act slowly, not to jump too quickly into those things, to investigate them. That's the key thing to remember. But you have the green door to make innovations in your finances, to proactively pursue such new sources and resources and finances, but to investigate them well. Second house in ancient astrology rules also family, those that we consider our support. Fourth house is also connected to family, but second house is also strongly connected to family. So there might be some tensions with family members, some breakthrough that you have to happen in the relationships with them, and you might be resisting traditions and people that are too traditional or too, how do I say, too set in their ways, which is very much second house, that are keepers of traditions, of systems, of values, and you might rebel against such people, such influences that are too traditional, and you might have confrontation with more conservative, tradition-keeping systems or agents in your life. You might find yourself that you're, fighting with them in some way. But again, Mars gives you the willpower to persevere and to follow through. And Mars in ancient astrology is the speech. So second house is also connected to speech. And not exactly communications, exchanging information with someone, but how you deliver a message. And you become much more assertive in how you express yourself with your speech. You might even become hurtful sometimes, because this is Mars. And probably you need that, if it's happening there, maybe you needed to learn how to to make your speech more infectious, because Mars is this energizing, exciting, dynamic planet that puts dynamism to your speech, to how you present things verbally as well. But in the extreme case, it can make you more abrasive to others in your speech, and almost like unable to listen what they say. You just fire at them and not hearing what the the response is. And if there is any stresses, if there were initially inherent problems in your family with parents or people that you consider your very close support, like family almost, these will escalate, will come to the surface for you to deal with them and hopefully fix them, because Mars is a planet that there is a problem, wants to face it directly and fix it. That's why we're given those moments. So if you've been financially not doing something right, it can escalate, show you, so you with proactive actions can fix it as well. Sorry about that. Okay, that's how Mars in Scorpio can transpire for quite a few Libras for the next 6-7 months. But Mars will also be retrograde in your third house, Scorpio, Libra. Sorry, I'm talking about Libra, but Mars is in Scorpio, and it will go in your third house in Sagittarius and stay for a few months as well there. But we're going to talk about that. How is Mars going to innovate that house, and how it's going to make you break with traditions, and how it's going to make you more active in regards to third house matters in March. We're going to speak about that, so tune in for the March videos, Libras. But now let's go back to the month of February, more specifically. And as I said, you have positive indications for financial matters, because Mars is, for some new ideas, for some new moving forwards, becoming initiative, because Mars is making lots of lovely aspects in February. And at the same time, the more complicated stuff will come back a bit later into the year, when Mars probably goes retrograde, you know, towards the June, around that area, May. But let's go back to where is Venus and Mercury. They're short-term influences. They only affect you for the month of February. And for you Libras, they are in the 4th house, and they're moving into the 5th house. So fourth house is a bit more private, more kind of within your private world. And those two communicative planets from the middle of February are moving into your 5th house. So you become way more expressive, looking for fun. And they go into the sign of Aquarius, which is another air sign and very much supports Libra. So you find, if you have some creative projects, that you can work on them, you can assess them and get more inspiration and get more inspired with them towards the second part of February. Also, it can make you more inclined to have fun. It will make you more inclined for dating, for romance. Venus and Mercury in the 5th house can, you know, if you're single or even not, can attract more attention to you and make you more center stage person. If you're already in careers that are center stage, like performance, art, creativity, fashion, speaking in front of people, you know, you will shine, so to speak, in the second part of February. And you come out of your shell almost. There can be also positive moments with your children, because 5th house rules children, creative, fun, pleasure. So there's a lot of supportive influence for you in February. Actually, the tension comes a bit later. Now February is peaceful, is the preparatory stage. A good time for the first part more for family and private matters, the second part more for center stage activities, for creative projects, for having fun, for romance as well. So it's that's overall. There is nothing else that is very stressful happening in February. What I was talking to you about Mars, it will take a much longer span. So February, it's more of an easygoing preparatory stage, and you're starting to get hint about the events that are going to transpire for the next few months, because Mars is already going over those degrees that it will be transiting a few times for a few months. So thank you very much, Libras. Hope you enjoyed that. Subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in March when I'll talk what it means to have Mars for a long time in your 3rd house as well.